Hey guys, so I'm going to do something a little differently today than what is usually on the channel. I'm going to be ranking the Weezer albums since the new Weezer SZNZ Winter just came out. So I just thought it'd be a nice time to rank these. I'm a huge super fan. I've been into them since like 2015. So let's start off with like the most recent stuff. We'll go with Winter. Okay, Winter. So it has like I Want a Dog, Iambic Pentameter. I mean, both of those are great. Basketball, I actually like that song quite a bit. Sheridan Commander, feels weird to be there. I think it was supposed to be the first track, but it never was. Dark Enough to See the Stars, good. The One That Got Away, good. And then the last track, The Deep and Dreamless Sleep, kind of weird and kind of depressing, but it's a fantastic closer. I think it's a pretty good record, so I'm gonna set it at A. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's like Blue Album obviously or Pinkerton level. Well, it might be Pinkerton level, you'll just have to see. So okay, that's Winter. Now it starts to get fun. So was Autumn better than Winter? Absolutely not. Can't Dance, Don't Ask Me, that was my favorite song off that record. Get Off the Pain's not bad. What Happens After You, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the melody personally. Francesca, should she stay or should she go? Taste Like Pain, Run Raven Run, it felt a little bit too melodramatic to me. So for now, I'm just going to place it in B. I'll see where it goes. Okay, next one is Summer. Summer is obviously worse than those, than Autumn and Winter. So it's obviously going to go lower. Lawn Chair's not bad. Records, I like records. I'm not in love with like the production. This record compared to like Autumn and Winter just feels like it's... I'm not that. I don't produce music or anything like that, so I want to use my words carefully here. I think Summer is more akin to like Pacific Daydream and Ratitude than like, Winter and Autumn. And I would say even Spring kind of feel more towards like a Green sound, right? Like they're all like very well polished things, but I think Summer was just too polished for me. And that's what Records is. Blue Like Jazz is my favorite song off the record. I think it's great. The lyrics suck, but like everything else is really good. Opposite of Me is not bad. What's good at being good? I don't know. Then it just starts to kind of go blah. For me, personally, I'm just going to put it in D. I'm just going to put it straight in there. Okay, let's get this going. Spring. Opening Night. I like Opening Night a lot because it just shows Rivers' passion for Shakespeare and he just gets a fully nerd out, which I think is such a Weezer thing. Like there's a quintessential nerd band, so I'm happy that Rivers is expressing that. So Opening Night, great. Angels on Vacation sounds just off of White. Argue with me in the comments if you want, but Angels on Vacation belongs on White Album, maybe produced a little differently, but I think it's great. Maybe the lyrics, but anyway, A Little Bit of Love, wasn't in love with that single. Obviously, I think he was trying to go for like a TikTok sound, but I don't think it worked here. It's supposed to be Island in the Sun, but it's nowhere close to that record. The Garden of Eden, Sound of Drums are like the same exact song. They're not the worst. And All This Love, I don't even know what the melody sounds like. And Wild at Heart, I know that melody, but it's not great. I personally liked it more than Autumn. I've listened to it more than Autumn. But I don't think it's as good as Winter. So I'm going to put it along with Autumn. Okay, cool. Now I get to like the real stuff here. Okay Human obviously goes straight to the top of S tier. If anybody put it below that, they have to re-listen to this record because it's great. And I've made my first mistake of the video. Okay Human was not the next record. It was Van Weezer that was the next record. I'm just so excited to talk about Okay Human. We're just going to jump right to Okay Human. So Okay Human, All my favorite songs are slow and sad. I think that's a really good way to begin the album. It sort of introduces the listener to the orchestral sound that the album's going for, and it's very simple at the same time. I think it's a great opener. I don't think it's a great song, though. I always skip it, honestly. I go right to Alu Gobi, which I think is one of Weezer's best songs that they have written. I think it's up there with Buddy Holly, Pork and Beans, all of that. After that, it's Grapes of Wrath, the like Audible thing. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with like little name drops of brands. I mean, he's been doing that since the Blue album. So anybody who's angry at Weezer for being Weezer is crazy. Or at least like you can critique it, but I mean Weezer's been doing it since the beginning, and if you were fine with that, then there has to be some leniency to that. Anyway, Grapes of Wrath is great. Numbers are a little too melodramatic for me, but it still sounds great. I mean, Rivers sounds amazing on this record. Playing my piano, again, it sounds amazing. Mirror Image is the closest thing we've gotten to Pinkerton levels of sincerity and really, really, really great lyrics. I think Mirror Image is great. Screens, I know it's kind of corny, for Weezer to talk about, oh, the screens are changing everything and all that. But no, I think it's honest. I think Weezer takes, or Rivers specifically writing it, I think he takes a unique perspective on it. It's definitely my least favorite song on the record, but it's not a bad song to have. Bird with a Broken Wing is great. I love Rivers actually being honest with the fans and delivering some honest, compassionate lyrics where he visualized himself as this bird with a broken wing, like the sort of not has-been artist, but I mean kind of, right? Dead Roses, a lot of people love Dead Roses. I know like people on Reddit love that song from when OK Human came out. I'm not a huge fan. I get it. I think it's cool. It's not like a skip on my when I listen to it, but it's not my favorite. Everything Happens for a Reason. It's just a filler, but you know what? It's a filler that really helps contextualize and build the themes of the album. It's fantastic. Here Comes the Rain. There's not much to say about it. It's fine. And La Brea Tar Pits is one of my favorite Weezer songs. I love, Pat not playing the drums in that little section, the hey heys, and then he comes back in, boom, 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 boom. It's just, I think it's fantastic. So yeah, OK Human goes on the very top. Okay, Van Weezer. Van Weezer annoys me because I think it's a bit too gimmicky, but I think the melodies and the songs themselves are fine. And then they only, Rivers only slips up a few times, I think, for me. Hero is a fine song. I'm fine with Hero, but it's placed really awkwardly. It should be the end of the game to be on top. The lead single to be the first song I think would have been better. All the Good Ones, I think that's good. I Need Some of That. I think that's good. That's a melody that comes into my head randomly, so I think that's a good enough. Beginning of the End, it's weird. It's a weird mix. I don't know. It feels like it doesn't have an end, and then when it ends, it barely ends. It's just not great. Blue Dream could have been a successful song on its own, but because Rivers put the Crazy Train Ozzy Osbourne riff in the very front of it, it just feels so gimmicky, just like the rest of this album, like how it also feels gimmicky. I'm not a big fan, but take that out and it would be a decent song. I don't know. I'm being picky. One More Hit, I'm fine with it. Sheila Can Do It sucks. I don't like Sheila Can Do It. She Needs Me also sucks. Don't like that at all. And then Precious Metal Girl is a fine ending to the record. I would give this what would I give this? I would give this, I think it's better. It's better than Summer. And I think it's better. I'm gonna also put it in the B. I know it's kind of indecisive, but I don't think it's better than Winter. Winter feels honest. Van Weezer doesn't feel honest. Now, and you'll notice that I just really like when Weezer seems to be more obvious. I perceive it to be more obvious. So, okay. Next track, hilariously, is Weezer's Black Album, the worst thing they've ever made. Worse than Ratitude in every way. Once I get to Ratitude, you'll know why. But Black Album sucks hard. And it was such a disappointment, especially because it's supposed to be the sequel to the White Album, which just, it still kind of pisses me off because, like I was saying at the beginning of this video, I became a fan of Weezer in 2015. And so, you know, the White Album hit hard. I was in high school and I just love that record so much. And for there to be this like hint of like, oh, the Black Album's coming. It's like, oh my God, like what is this going to be? Like, what's the sound? And River said it's going to be like more sad. I mean, like you kind of get that connotation with the, you know, White and then a Black record, you know, like it's like the darker tones or whatever. And then what we got was this like hip hop influenced Weezer record. You know, not Pacific Daydream. Pacific Daydream's good. We'll get to that. But like, let's just go track by track. Okay, so Can't Knock the Hustle, I think is really not a bad single at all. I don't mind it. I like where Weezer was going with that. Zombie Bastards, I'm fine with. I'm not in love with it. High as a Kite should be on OK Human. It's not a bad song. It deserves more praise than it has, and it's so sad it's on like the worst Weezer record because it deserves praise. Living in LA sucks so bad, especially like when it has a similar name to LA Girls. Like that genealogy is just like, oh come on. Like Living in LA I'm not a big fan. Piece of Cake, I don't think it has a bad melody, but it's just I'm just being honest, it's just Rivers being a jerk. Too Many Thoughts in My Head, I remember the ending's nice, where he like does like a weird rap thing, like on No Scrubs, which we'll get to, his cover of No Scrubs. I'm fine with that. Prince Who Wanted Everything is the worst Weezer song. That song is irritably repetitive, means absolutely nothing, and has no honesty at all. It sounds like an AI wrote a Weezer song, which really pisses me off. When Rivers has written better things before the Black Album and better things after the Black Album. I don't understand where he got that idea of. Anyway, Byzantine is one of the only songs on this record that's like decent to listen to. I got a lot of friends who like Byzantine, but me personally, not a huge fan. I'm not playing it all the time. Black Album, I'm gonna put it right into the D tier. Oh yeah. I actually forgot the last track because it's so forgettable. It's California Snow. I have a personal vendetta against that song because if you were a Weezer fan at the time, you know that California Snow was like released like 6 months earlier for like a film. Like it was just like not a throwaway, but it was just like a track for a film. And they just slapped it at the end of this album, and that just like cemented my opinion of this record, because Weezer seems to always deliver in the last like few tracks, and just them not committing just really pissed me off. And just like putting in a throwaway track, just don't like it. Anyways, so yeah, Black is the furthest they can go. Okay, so the Weezer Teal album, I'm not gonna rank it. That's my hot take. Not gonna rank it because it's not a real record. It's a cover record, right? The best song on there is not Africa. It's not the lead single of the record. No, it's No Scrubs, right? It's Weezer doing something a little different, right? Like of Rivers adapting a song, a popular 2000s hip hop song. Again, I'm not 100% sure like all the details about that specific song, but reversing the genders on it, I think is really fascinating. You know, him having a deeper voice. I think it's good. I think that's worth a listen. But everything else, there's no reason, because Africa by Toto is a really good song. And you know, man, I can't think of any other names. Paranoid by Black Sabbath, of course. Like these are good songs. But like, what does Weezer add? They don't add anything. If you like this record, that's awesome. If you hate this record, okay. I don't have an opinion. I don't have an opinion. Let's move on. Okay, Pacific Daydream. Pacific Daydream, I have a heart. Pacific Daydream, I have a soft spot for Pacific Daydream. I think it's... I don't think it's a perfect record. In no way do I think it's a perfect record, but I think it's worth praising, and worth your time to listen to. Again, if you haven't listened to it in a while, Mexican Fender was basically the White Album, but just slightly different. I'm not a big fan of that one, but the 4-song run of Beach Boys, Feels Like Summer, Happy Hour, and Weekend Woman are all great songs. I would argue they are almost some of Weezer's best music that's come out in the last few years, and I know people hate that. I know like Fantano, who I'm kind of ripping off the style of this video with, hates this record. When he did his like Weezer review a few years ago, he listed Pacific Daydream as, you know, the worst record, worse than Ratitude, worse than Make Believe, worse than everything, which I don't get personally. I think this is well done. I think it's well done, you know, this sort of hip-hoppy sound and Weezer mixing together. I don't think it's bad. QB Blitz is fine. Sweet Mary's fine. Get Right's fine. La Mancha Screwdrop, I think the B-side of this record is meh. You know, I could do without. Any Friend of Diane's. I got friends who like it, specifically Sam, who's on this channel. You know, she's a fan of this song. I'm not a huge fan of that song. I don't know. It's just, I don't think it's mine. But anyway, let's get to the ranking. So Pacific Daydream, I am gonna say, I'm gonna put it in B. And I think it's better than Van Weezer, and I'm gonna commit a cardinal sin here, and I'm gonna put that there. Which I know will be a popular opinion. I don't know. I don't think anybody's really thought of Van Weezer that much, to be honest. Okay, so let's move on to the White Album. The White Album, I think, is a classic. I'm going to place it, and I'm going to argue its position. I think it's S tier all the way, because like California Kids, Winning Our Sale, Thank God for Girls, Girl We Got a Good Thing, Do You Want to Get High, King of the World, Summerland and Drunk Dory, and LA Girls, Jacked Up, and Endless Bummer, I think are classics. I think they're all super great. I don't think they're as good as Blue, which kind of reveals my placement. But I just think this record's fantastic. I think the production's great. I think the sort of nostalgic sound that they were going for, something like a sequel to the Blue Album, I think was an incredible move, especially after winning fans back with Everything Will Be Alright in the end. I think it's wonderful. I mean, what else is there to say about it? Oh, I'll say this one last thing. I think LA Girls stands shoulder to shoulder with Buddy Holly, with Alu Gobi, with Pork and Beans. I think that's an easy thing to say, because I just think it is Weezer magic at its best in the 2010s, I think. Okay, so that's S tier. Ubaidi, Everything Will Be Alright in the End. I think this is also a really good record. I think White is a stronger record because it feels more cohesive. But I really like the production on this record. Now, again, I'm not a music nut. I don't know all this stuff. I'm just a fan. I'm a big fan. I make some music sometimes, but I barely know what I'm doing. I like the sound of this. It might be sort of a nostalgia thing for me because, like I said, I got into Weezer in like 2015, and I remember I listened to the Blue Album, then I listened to Pinkerton, and then I went to, you know, my local Walmart, and I was looking through the CDs, and there was Everything Will Be Right in the End. It was actually like a cracked case. I remember that, and I picked it up, and so like those 3 records I listened to like back to back to back, and so I have a deep connection to this record. So let's go track by track. So Ain't Got Nobody, I think is a very decent track. I think is a really great opener, actually. Back to the Shack, I think is a fine single. I'm not in love with it. I don't play it that much. Eulogy for a Rock Band, same thing. Lonely Girl, I love Lonely Girl. It feels as essential to Weezer as some early Beatles songs do to like the Beatles, which I know is like super unspecific, but I just think it's I think it has that sort of classic feel. I mean, it's sort of a classic homage. It's a classic idea, right? The lonely girl. Oh, don't be so lonely. I'll be with you, you know. I've had it up to here. It really shows Rivers' amazing vocals. The British Are Coming, I think, is a wonderful, silly song. That was kind of oddly tossed in there. Da Vinci is great. Da Vinci, okay, I know Rick Ocasek and lots of others hate the whistling, and they were like, don't fucking put whistling on a record, it makes it shit, or at least that's what I've read. But I don't know, man. I think Da Vinci's good. I think I'm fine with whistling. Go Away, I think Go Away is a lesser track than Da Vinci, and yeah, I'm doing the joke. Go Away, and I know it's Da Vinci. I'm just gonna clarify that right now. I'm saying Da Vinci as a joke. Go Away is meh. Okay, Cleopatra is fantastic. I think that's also one of my favorite Weezer songs. Just based on that solo alone, I think it's fantastic. I think the bridge, the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 isn't the best, right? But at least it links in to the idea of the song. Like, Weezer is known for their oddball lyrics. You know, Rivers is an oddball writer, it seems. So I'm fine with it, as long as it fits with the song. Foolish Father, I think, is a fantastic ender. And then the double, like, you know, the Wasteland, Anonymous, and Return to Ithaca, I think those are all fantastic. So I'm going to give Ubaidi S tier, obviously. It's in the council. Come on. Okay, now we got Hurley. Hurley, people are going to get angry at me because I'm not a big fan of Hurley. I'm not. I've tried it a few times. I personally don't like the way it sounds, like the production. Again, I don't know why specifically. I can't really well place it, to be honest. Maybe if I did a longer video on each one of these records, I could be more precise. Memories, I think, is a fine single. I mean, it's singing to me right now as soon as I read it. You know, Memories make me want to go back there. It's catchy, but I think that's all it is. I don't know. Not a big fan. Ruling Me, meh. Trainwrecks, meh. Unspoken, meh. Where's My Sex? Funny story. Not a great song. Runaway, meh. Hang On is not bad. Smart Girls is just... I think Rivers originally wrote it as Hot Girls, so it's kind of gross. I don't care. Brave New World, don't care. Time Flies, I don't think is bad. But that's not a great record. I'm gonna put Hurley right next to Van Weezer. I don't, and I just want to be clear. I don't hate any of these albums besides the Black Album. I hate the Black Album. I'm fine with everything else. I don't have I'm not vindictive with these records. This list does not include Death to False Metal, but Death to False Metal would definitely be better than Black Album because I feel betrayed. as a fan of Weezer, I feel betrayed. I felt betrayed, and I still feel betrayed by the sort of... it felt like, to me, like a rug pull. You know, it's like, do you want a sequel to one of Weezer's best records in the last 20 years? And it's like, yeah. And it's like, well... No, it's actually just like a nasty hip-hop album. I don't know. And by the way, I love hip-hop. You know, I'm not trying to say all hip-hop sucks. Hip-hop's great. But just that fusion in that way sucked. So yeah, Death to False Metal would probably go in somewhere between C and D. I think Hurley and Van Weezer are better because at least they have a concept, a central theme. All right, we're getting to it. Raditude, of course. Raditude. It's a joke, right? Like that everyone hates Raditude. It's a meme. Everyone talks about it. I'm gonna defend Raditude a little bit. I think the main problem of this record isn't the production. I don't think it's the songwriting. I don't think it's the melodies. I think it all comes down to, for me, the lyrics are really disgusting and creepy. And, you know, Rivers has done this sort of creepy path before. Like on Pinkerton, there's moments that are weird. And Raditude is similar in that way, right? Like Raditude is creepy, just like Pinkerton, except it has no charisma. So there's no reason to listen to it, to be honest. Okay, so if you're wondering if you want me to, I want you to, horrible title, but it was one of Weezer's last hits before Africa. And it might be their last, big hit that we see in recent times, but or ever, to be honest. But if you're wondering if I want you to, I think is at this point like classic rock. I know that must be weird to hear, but I grew up, hearing it on the radio. I think it's good. I'm Your Daddy, I think is a great melody. I like it personally, but I'm Your Daddy is gross. I don't want to imagine Rivers as a daddy, because he's just like a I don't know, like a genderless orb, and I like that more. The Girl Got Hot, gross. Can't Stop Partying, of course it's bad. Put Me Back Together, I think is fine. Yeah, no, I think it's more than fun. I think it's a good track, and it's kind of one of those gems in the middle of Raditude. Tripping Down the Freeway, yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that one. Love's the Answer sucks. I don't know why they would do something like that. I'm fine with experimenting, but it just didn't land for me. Let All Hang Out, In the Mall, and then the last song, I Don't Want to Let You Go. Which, isn't that just like, I Don't Want to Let You Go? Isn't that like a song off of Green? Why? like obviously it's not just directly a song off of Green, but it's like the same lyric. I don't know, man. Raditude's not the best. I think it's better than the Black Album, personally. But I think Van Weezer and Hurley are... I think Van Weezer's better. I think Hurley belongs there, and I know I'll be like crucified, but it's my list. So, okay. So next one, the Red Album. I love the Red Album. I think the Red Album's like not bad. Red Album. You know what? I'm gonna place it first. Let's mix it up. Red Album. Boom. I think it's an A. I think the Red Album is super underloved. I think it deserves more praise because Troublemaker is a bop. I think The Greatest Man That Ever Lived is one of the most funny things Weezer has ever done, specifically Rivers. If you know, you have to watch that music video or the live performance of this song. It's insane. Pork and Beans. I think Pork and Beans is better than Buddy Holly, personally. Argue with me in the comments, please, if you disagree with me. Heart Songs, I don't think is bad. I think it's like nicely sentimental. I'm not in love with the song, but I think it's nice that we're getting like actual sentiment here. I love the line where Rivers talks about like tipping cows for fun. Yeah, actually, I didn't do that. I didn't want the cows to be sad, I think is the lyric. It's just, he's being so honest, but like edgy, which there's like an honesty in there that's like not on the Black Album. It's not on Raditude. I think Cowboy Rivers is a neat intersection between total douchebag and little nerd. And I appreciate that sort of middle zone. Let's keep it going. I think Dreamin's a great song. I think Dreamin's great. Thought I Knew, Cold Dark World, Automatic. They're the only opportunities that Pat, Brian, and Scott were given to have like their own songs, on a record. Just like them as, at least them as the primary singer. I don't know if they wrote these songs. Pretty sure they did. I'm not a big fan. And then the last song, Angel and the One, I think it's a really great ender, to be honest. I think it's really great. My only problem is I don't like the lyric where it's like, I will be the one that you will lay with. Like, just, I don't know, it's creepy. It's another like creepy lyric of like, oh, I'm the one you're gonna have sex with. Oh, like, gross. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about the extra tracks because Miss Sweeney's great. See right there, I cut in there. Oh yeah, might as well. I'm on this thing. King sounds like a Nickelback record. I've been wanting to say that on the internet for a very long time because I've never heard anybody say that. So that's where Red belongs. Red belongs in A tier. Okay, Make Believe. Make Believe's a hard one. A lot of people, when they were fans of Weezer growing up, hate this record because it was the first time they went commercial. I get that. I'm not a big Beverly Hills fan either. And I don't think it's a great way to open the record. but it's like it's classic rock at this point, which like, you know, you tell anybody, you go like, hey yo, you listen to Weezer, and then they're like, yeah, I love Beverly Hills, I love Buddy Holly, or at least before like TikTok it was Beverly Hills. Now it's probably Buddy Holly with the riff. Perfect Situation. I love the music video. I love I really love that song. I think it's very good. This Is Such a Pity is fine. Hold Me is fine. Peace is meh. We Are All on Drugs. I actually enjoy that song. The Damage in Your Heart, Pardon Me, Best Friend, The Other Way, Freak Me Out, Haunt You Every Day. I don't know, man. It just kind of feels like the Green album, but even less bite. Like, it feels like, I don't know, this is, you know, do I like this Black album over the actual Weezer Black album? Yeah, because this feels honest. And, you know, you'll hear that a lot from me. For Weezer albums, I have to have, like, some sort of a semblance of honesty. So, okay, so Make Believe, I don't think it's as good as Van Weezer and Pacific Daydream. I'm going to put it right with Gratitude and Hurley. I think that's a fine place. And you know what? Looking at this list, I think Summer's going to pop up. Okay? Summer's up. All right, Maladroit. Maladroit's not bad. It's not a bad record at all. In a lot of ways, I view the relationship with Blue and Pinkerton, I think it's similar with Green and Maladroit, right? Like, it's sort of this rougher sound, instead of this sort of clean-cut, nice to look at, you know, conceptual themes or the way it's the track is produced. So American Gigolo is a great song. Dope Nose is great, except for the F word. Keep Fishin' is classic Weezer. Take Control sucks. Death and Construction kind of sucks too. Slav is not great. Burnt Jam is fucking the shit. Burnt Jam's great. Space Rock's good. Slave is good. I love the acoustic version, the like Spotify Sessions acoustic version of that song. I think it was fantastic. Fall Together, whatever. Possibilities, whatever. Love Explosion, whatever. December is pretty good. So I'm going to give Maladroit, and I know a lot of people love Maladroit. They want it to be in the council. It's not in the council. It's not there. I don't think it's there. In no fucking way is it there. There is some choice tracks that sound like they could be on the prequel to Death to False Metal, since this came out before then. It's not fantastic. Okay, Green Album. Don't Let Go. Ooh, OEO. Photograph. Hash Pipe and Island in the Sun are like some of the best Weezer songs, to be honest. I think Hash Pipe's a great way to get someone interested into the band. Rivers' vocals is great. I think the way everything plays together is fantastic. I watched what's his name? I watched a YouTuber. Man, I can't remember his name. Beato. I watched Beato's like deconstruction of that song, and it just made me really appreciate it so much more. So I'd definitely go watch that video. Maybe I'll put it in the little pop bar that pops up. Yeah, okay, so everything else. Oh, Girlfriend's fine. Simple Pages. Glorious Day, Smile. Okay, Green Album is not bad, right? I know a lot of people, you know, it's a split album. I think at the time when Green came out after, what was that, a 5-year hiatus from Pinkerton, I think people were wanting the Blue Album back because they hated Pinkerton generally, right? Like, the public hated it. So, I think the Green Album is so much like the Blue Album. It just doesn't have a soul. like the Blue Album felt like a genuine expression of honesty. Again, with the honesty. But the Green Album felt like, and from what I've read, it sounds like that's what Rivers was going for. This sort of like robotic, calculated version of songs. You know, it wasn't like Rivers in, you know, in a cold, dark room. And I know that he painted his like room black or whatever right before this time, but he's not like sitting in a room and like creating these songs from his heart. You know, like, this is when he started to make the spreadsheets, and I feel like that's where Rivers goes wrong nowadays, is when he solely relies on that spreadsheet, because it's just, I could imagine the Prince Who Wanted Everything. If you took all of Rivers's research and spreadsheets, that's what you would get. You would get the Prince Who Wanted Everything. If you put all that, shoved it to an AI, it would fart the Prince Who Wanted Everything out. So Weezer's Green Album, I'm gonna say it goes. I don't think it's as good as this stuff. Man, dude, Photograph and Hashpipe and Hashpipe and Island in the Sun really bump up this record to like classic territory. Obviously, I'm gonna put it in B. Okay, now we only got the two. Okay, Pinkerton, Tired of Sex, amazing guitar solo, great like, keyboard, like that synthesizer sound, great bass line, it's like a lullaby, and I think some of the best Weezer songs are that, right? They have this sort of lullaby tendency. Get You, I'm not a big fan of that track. I think it's a horrible way to continue into the album. No Other One, I think is great. Why Bother, fantastic. Across the Sea, weird. Why is that one lyric in there? Why is it in there? I always feel weird listening to it, man. Like, I think it's a decent song. I think it's even a good song. But the lyrics weird me out. I'm not much of a lyrics guy. But Across the Sea just doesn't do it for me. The Good Life is, I think, my all-time favorite Weezer song. I think it's classic. El Scorcho. Pink Triangle. I'm not a huge fan of that song. I think it's pretty good. Okay, Falling for You is good, and Butterfly's good. Like, Butterfly's a great way to end that album. You know what? Yeah, I was originally thinking about putting it in A tier, but there's no fucking way that Pinkerton is like on the same level as Maladroit, or even like the new Winter record, which I think is great. Okay, last one is Weezer, the Blue Album, 1994. I think My Name is Jonas is a fantastic way to open a record. I think it's a bop end to end. Yeah. No One Else. I mean, it has that lyric, right, where it's just like, why does my girlfriend wear makeup when I'm not around? Like, it's misogynistic. I'm not a big fan of that, but I'm fine with how it sounds. The World Has Turned and Left Me Here. It's also one of my favorite Weezer songs ever. Buddy Holly, I've heard it way too much for me to love it. Undone, the Sweater song, fantastic. Surf Wax America, amazing. Say It Ain't So, classic. In the Garage, classic. Holiday, classic. Only in Dreams, one of my favorite songs of all time. Weezer, obviously, the Blue Album goes into the S tier. Okay, so that is my full list. Again, I'm not placing the Teal album because I believe it's not even a record to even think about. I don't know why it's on here. It's, if this is going to be on there, put Death to False Metal. Put the live record from like 2003 or 4 or whatever, right? Put a bunch of other bullshit. Put the Pacific Daydream Happy Hours or Happy Hour remix, like EP. It was never like physically done, but like if you go on Spotify, there's like 10 remixes. Put that on there because I'll rank those, but I'm not gonna rank Teal. If those were on there, I'd rank them all, but since it's just Teal, no way. So that's my list. I think the Council, right? That joke. I think obviously OK Human's fantastic. White's great. You Beatty's great. Pinkerton and Blue are great. If I had to choose between Pinkerton and Blue, I would say Blue is better than Pinkerton. Personally, I think it's more wholesome. I think it's more honest, frankly. And Pinkerton gives me weird vibes, to be honest. And I'm a huge Weezer fan. I can usually deal with that shit, but that's weird. A tier, yeah. No, like looking at this, I think the Winter album is it's that good. I think if you haven't listened to it yet, listen to it. Give it a try. I've heard, or I read on Reddit, someone was saying that it sounds like the type of music that would have come out after Pinkerton, before Green. If Pinkerton was like received nicely, maybe critiqued a bit, that sound is more akin to the Blue album. especially with the sort of finger-picking acoustic guitar laid over the crunchy electric guitars with a harmonica. Anytime there's a harmonica in a song, I adore it. So that's why I love the Blue Album so much. Although that synth is great in Pinkerton. I think the Red Albums is underrated. I think Maladroit is worth definitely a try. Spring, Autumn, yeah, I'd say they're about the same in my book. I think Pacific Daydream's in there as well. Like, a lot of these are, once we go down, they start to get more and more flawed. Or at least for me, right? I like less and less and less and less and less tracks. But this is pretty good for Weezer when it comes to these EPs, right? It's like a scattershot. You got some of their like worst lyrics, I would say, that they've had in a very long time, and they've also had, I think, some of their best lyrics that they've had in this set of EPs. So as a fan, I'm happy. I'm super happy. So that's my list. If you disagree with me, please comment down below, and I'll personally message back. It's not like a ton of people are gonna see this, so I'll message back. So anyways, that was my video. Do the thing, the liking and the subscribing and the commenting and all that, and I'll see y'all later.